Hello students, today we will discuss the topic parameters of surface measurement or parameters of surface roughness. So it is required to assign numerical values to surface roughness so as to measure its degree. So numerical values must be given for surface roughness so as to know its degree. So by this analysis we will be able to understand whether the component is meeting the surface qualities according to the functional requirements or not. We can analyze component is meeting the functional requirements of surface quality or not. So there are some of the parameters which have to be analyzed. So some of them are the parameters of surface roughness are, the first one is the 10-point height average value. The second one is the root mean square value. The third one is the center line average value. So if we want to study them individually, the first one, that is the 10-point height average value. So this is also called as peak to valley height. So peak to valley height. So here we will consider the average height, which consists of number of successive peaks and valleys of the asperities. So here average height consisting of number of successive peaks and valleys of the deformities or of the asperities. So from this figure, so it is a measurement to calculate 10-point height average. So we can see that there is a line AA which is parallel to general lay of the trace is drawn. So this line is parallel to general lay of the trace, and the heights of 5 consecutive peaks, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these consecutive peaks we are considering, and valleys from these heights of the peaks and the valleys are considered between this line AA. Line AA parallel to the general lay of the trace is drawn. Then the heights of 5 consecutive peaks and valleys from line AA is noted. So the average peak to valley height, that is the RZ, the average peak to valley RZ, that is nothing but 10 point height average value. So we can write this RZ as is equal to H1 plus H3 plus H5 plus H7 plus H9 minus H2 plus H4 plus H6 plus H8 plus H10 divided by 5 into 1000 by vertical magnification in micrometer. So here this is the H1 value, this is H5, this is H7 and this is H9. This is H2, H4, H6, H8 and H10 values. So this way the value of RZ, that is the 10 point height average, is calculated. The next one is the root mean square value. It is also called as RMS. So popularly this RMS was used to quantify the surface roughness, but later on it was superseded by the center line average value. So this RMS can be defined as the square root of mean of squares of the ordinates of the surface measured from a mean line. So this is the mean line in the figure. So this is the mean line and these are the ordinates. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, up till n value, and this is the L, that is the length of the total surface roughness. So the definition is, it is the square root of the mean of squares of the ordinates of the surface measured from a mean line. So how do we write it? So if we consider this as H1, H2, H3 and so on up till Hn, and these are equally spaced ordinates. So from figure, if H1, H2, H3 and so on till Hn are equally spaced ordinates at point 1, 2, so on till n, then we can write HRMS as this is the square root of mean of squares, the ordinates, the squares of the ordinates, plus H2 square plus H3 square plus so on plus Hn square divided by n. So this is about the root mean square value or RMS. The next parameter is the center line average value. So RA value, so this is also called as RA. So this value is a prevalent standard for measuring of surface roughness. So it is a mostly used standard for measuring surface roughness. So it is defined as the average height from a mean line of all the ordinates of the surface regardless of its sign. So, if these are the average heights of all the ordinates A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6 and L is the distance of these irregularity, then we can write RA is equal to A1 plus A2 plus so on plus AN divided by L, or we can write it as sigma of A divided by L. So many countries like USA, Canada, Switzerland and Netherlands have exclusively used this RA value as standard for measuring surface roughness. But we should mention it here that this RA value is an index for surface texture comparison. So it is an index for surface texture comparison, but it is not any dimension. So RA value is an index of surface texture comparison and not a dimension. So this is all about the parameters of surface measurement or parameters of surface roughness.